Tea time. Let me tell you the story about this woman who was shopping at the thrift store and she found a little jewelry box that was almost identical to the one she had bought for her daughter when her daughter turned 6 years old. Now, her daughter's 17 at this point, so it's been a long time. But she was thinking maybe I can replace the old jewelry box with this one. It's just the same. So she goes to the counter to pay for it, and the clerk's like, "That is so cute." She was like, "I actually was looking at that myself for my own daughter." And she was like, "But you know what? There's a secret compartment. Did you see that?" And she was like, "No." And she showed her how to lift the flap to see what's in it. And she was like, "Oh, that is cute." She said, "I wonder if my daughter noticed the same thing about hers." So she puts it in the bag, goes and get in the car, and before she can turn the ignition, she gets a text message. It's from her boyfriend, Aaron. And he's like, "See you tonight." And she's like, "Yes." She's happy as she's driving home, and she's thinking about how long it took to get to this point because she had been seeing him for a year. But before that, just the men that had come into her life, she was just been so disappointed. Well, because she was a single mom and had divorced her husband when her daughter was 5, she had made up the strict rule she would never allow anybody to hurt her daughter. She would never allow anybody to hurt her or disrespect her at all. She knew she could do it alone, so she wasn't putting up with no nonsense. It was one strike and that's it. And guess what? She had had 2 men strike out already where she was like, "I'm not dealing with this." By the time she met Aaron, and those men struck out over things like one morning after her boyfriend left from spending the night, she looked on the counter and $1,000 that she had sitting up there was missing. It was 10 crisp $100 bills. She had it up there because she was going to buy a new living room set. And she was like, "Wait a minute." And she called him. What's going on? Did you take my money?" He's like, "No, why would I take your money?" And she was like, "My daughter wasn't even here. Who else took it? It was there last night." She goes to them. She's not talking to him no more. Waited a few years, met another man. He was nice and everything cool. How about she looked at the dresser next to her bed and she saw the condom box. But the condoms had holes in them. She already told him she didn't want no more kids. She was like, "What is he trying to do?" She didn't even ask him, if he did it. She just ghosted him. She's not talking to him anymore. A few years later, her daughter's in high school, going into her junior year, and she meets Aaron. Aaron's a teacher. He's sweet. He's nice. He's calm. He's rational. He follows all her rules. Like, no coming over while my daughter's there. You can only come when my daughter's away with her dad and spend the weekend with me. He's willing to do all that because he really likes her and she is happy. So when he says, "Can I see you?" she's like, "Yes, of course." But as she's driving home, she gets a text message from her daughter and she stops and she looks at it and it says, "Mom, come home. I got something to tell you." So of course she rushes home like, "What's going on?" And she walks in, her daughter's in the kitchen making salad and she's looking at her daughter like, "What's up?" And her daughter's like, "I got something to show you." And she takes out her phone and shows her mom, "Look at this screenshot." And the screenshot says, Mr. Jackson was caught sleeping with Tara, and now Tara is pregnant. Mr. Jackson is Aaron. Aaron is the teacher that people are saying is sleeping with a student and got her pregnant. So she was like, "What? Is this a rumor? What is this true?" And she's like, "Everybody's talking about it right now. I don't know." She's like, "Do you know Tara?" And she's like, "I don't know Tara, but that's what everybody's saying." And she's like, "Oh my gosh." So she goes into her bedroom. She pours herself a glass of wine, goes into the bedroom. She's like, "Oh my gosh, what do I do?" So she texts Aaron. She's like, "Aaron," just text his name with a question mark. He doesn't respond. I remember he said he was coming over, so she waits, finishes her wine, falls asleep. She wakes up in the middle of the night. He didn't call or text. She's not texting him again. She's not begging no man for nothing. So she stops and goes back to sleep. She wakes up in the morning again, still no response, and her daughter's getting ready for school. Her daughter's like, "Mom, are you okay?" She's like, "I'm fine, I'm fine." Her daughter's about to leave out the door, and she looks back at her and says, "Hey, by the way, Dad says hi." And she's looking like, what did you? Anyway, she goes to her office because she works from home and she's doing her work. By the middle of the day, she gets another text message from her daughter saying, "Mr. Jackson was arrested last night." And she's like, "What? Oh my gosh." She can't believe this. That's why she didn't hear from him. And she's like, so this stuff is true. All day long, she's fuming, she's upset, she's hurt, and she doesn't really know what to do. She decides to take her hands off. That's just one strike. She don't want to even go through anything like this. Well, by that evening, her daughter goes to sleep. She's sitting in her pajamas and she's just thinking about a year wasted of her life when all of a sudden she gets a knock at her door and she goes to the door and it's Aaron. She opens the door real stoic, like, "Yes." And he's like, oh my gosh, we need to talk. And she's like, wait, look, I already heard what happened, and I don't think we need to talk about it. He's like, what do you mean? Do you believe that? And she looks at him, a teenage girl, Aaron, really? And he's like, wait, look, I need you right now. Like, that's not true. That's not what happened. And she's like, goodbye. She slams the door in his face, walks away, goes to her room, sits on the bed, and then she starts crying. She cries because she's like, God dang, I thought I met somebody good. I thought good men do exist. I was trying to believe, and look, stupid stuff is happening again. As she cries, she hears her phone goes off, but she doesn't check it. She goes to sleep, and when she wakes up, she checks her text message, and it's from Aaron, and he said, I came over to give you something, but since you won't let me in, check your mailbox. So she tiptoes out in the middle of the night to the mailbox, opens it, it's a package in there, brings it inside the house. She opens it, and it's a ring. And it's a card that says, happy anniversary. I was wondering if you'll be mine. He was planning to propose to her. She can't believe this. She just makes her cry even more. She goes to sleep, falls asleep, and the next day her daughter's checking up on her. Mom, are you okay? And she says, I'm fine. She doesn't talk to Aaron anymore. She let it go. She leave it alone. A year goes past, and now her daughter's in college, and she's going to visit her daughter. And as she's driving there, she's thinking, oh my gosh, I never gave her the jewelry box that I had found that day, because that was the day that me and Aaron had got into all that scandal stuff happened, and I just forgot to give it to her, so I'm going to go switch it out. So she goes to her daughter's apartment. Her daughter's still in class. Was like, my roommate will let you in. Just go sit in my room, and I'll be there shortly. She goes in, she's looking around her daughter's room, nice and clean, nice and tidy. She sees the old jewelry box, and she has the new one in her bag. She goes over there, I'm going to just switch it. So she opens the jewelry box, and is looking in. She sees the jewelry. It's nice and neat and settled. And she's like, oh, wait, the secret compartment. And she looks under the flap, and she's like, what is this stuff? There's something wrapped in tin foil. And when she opens it, it's 10 crisp $100 bills. And she's like, what? Right next to it is 2 condoms with holes in it. And she can't believe, like, what am I seeing here? And next to that is a picture, and it's folded. And when she opened the picture, it's a picture of her and that girl, Tara, who accused Aaron of sleeping with her. She sits down on the bed, looks down at the floor. And at that moment, her daughter walks in and is like, Mom, are you okay? And she's like, huh? And her daughter's like, Mom, I'm so tired of you looking so sad. You know what? Maybe you should give Dad another chance. He's been asking about you. He's still single and you're still single. Maybe y'all should get back together.